Today, I invite you to consider a profound idea: act as if your mind is your servant. This isn't a call to separate ourselves from our thoughts or emotions, but rather to take on the role of master in our own lives, understanding that the mind is a powerful tool meant to serve us, not rule us. This idea draws on the wisdom of mystics, thinkers, and visionaries throughout history, people like Neville Goddard, who taught that our inner world of imagination and belief shapes the reality we experience. Mastering our thoughts is the foundation of personal empowerment and a key step in achieving fulfillment and success. It means taking responsibility for our mental processes, consciously guiding them, and refusing to let random, automatic thoughts dictate our mood, actions, or self-worth. In doing so, we're not only learning to control our mind, but also transforming it into a powerful ally. Our thoughts are like the unseen threads that weave the fabric of our lives. When we learn to master them, we gain the ability to shape our lives in remarkable ways. Thoughts are the foundation of emotions and behavior. What we think about ourselves, others, and the world shapes how we feel and act. For instance, if we constantly dwell on negative self-beliefs, we may feel inadequate or unworthy, which can limit us in countless ways. Conversely, if we think positively about our abilities and view challenges as opportunities for growth, we develop resilience, confidence, and motivation. Mastery over thoughts means becoming aware of the impact our thoughts have on our lives and recognizing that we are not merely passive recipients of these thoughts. We have the power to observe, shape, and redirect them to align with our highest goals. One way to begin mastering thoughts is by cultivating mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us recognize our thoughts without getting entangled in them. By becoming aware of our thinking patterns, we create a space between ourselves and our thoughts, allowing us to observe them from a neutral perspective. This practice enables us to identify negative or limiting beliefs as they arise, instead of reacting impulsively or emotionally. For instance, if we notice a recurring thought like "I'm not good enough," mindfulness allows us to catch this thought in real time, examine its validity, and replace it with a more constructive alternative. This approach empowers us to act intentionally rather than out of habit or emotional impulse. Another important aspect of thought mastery is understanding the difference between thoughts that serve us and those that don't. Not every thought that arises is true, necessary, or beneficial. Often we hold on to thoughts that are based on past experiences, fears, or insecurities, even when they no longer align with who we are or who we want to become. For example, if someone has been told repeatedly that they lack talent, they might carry this belief for years, limiting their aspirations and potential. By consciously examining and questioning the validity of our beliefs, we can identify and release thoughts that no longer serve us. This process requires honesty and self-compassion, as it often involves facing deep-seated fears or insecurities. However, by removing thoughts that act as mental barriers, we create room for new, empowering beliefs to flourish. Visualization is another powerful technique for mastering thoughts. When we vividly imagine ourselves achieving our goals or embodying our ideal qualities, we engage the mind in a constructive activity that helps reinforce positive beliefs. Visualization not only strengthens our focus on our goals, but also rewires our brain to support these aspirations. By regularly imagining ourselves in successful scenarios, we train our minds to prioritize thoughts and actions that align with these outcomes. This mental rehearsal primes our minds for success, making it easier to approach challenges with confidence and resilience. Visualization, therefore, becomes a bridge between thought and action, helping us turn our goals into reality. Self-compassion plays a critical role in thought mastery. Often people can become overly critical of themselves, allowing self-judgment to cloud their thinking. When we develop self-compassion, we approach our thoughts with kindness, acknowledging our imperfections without letting them define us. This compassionate approach reduces the mental pressure we put on ourselves and encourages a more constructive, forgiving mindset. Instead of dwelling on perceived shortcomings, we can focus on our strengths and growth. Self-compassion reminds us that our worth is not determined by any single thought or moment, fostering a more balanced and grounded perspective. Gratitude is another powerful practice for thought mastery. When we consciously focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our attention away from lack or negativity. Gratitude rewires the brain to focus on positive experiences, which can, in turn, create a more optimistic and resilient mindset. By regularly practicing gratitude, we train our minds to look for the good in every situation, no matter how challenging. This habit builds a mental framework that supports positive thinking, making it easier to maintain a constructive attitude even when faced with obstacles. The practice of gratitude transforms our perspective, helping us appreciate what we have rather than focusing on what we lack. Journaling is a practical tool for mastering thoughts as well. By writing down our thoughts and emotions, we externalize them, making it easier to analyze and reflect on them objectively. Journaling allows us to identify patterns, uncover subconscious beliefs, and gain clarity on issues that may be affecting us. This process can be incredibly revealing as it helps us see recurring themes in our thinking, both positive and negative. By regularly journaling, we create a record of our progress and develop a deeper understanding of ourselves, making it easier to guide our thoughts in a positive direction. Lastly, setting clear intentions is essential to mastering thoughts. When we have a clear purpose, we're better able to prioritize thoughts that align with our goals and disregard those that don't. Setting intentions gives our mind direction, helping it focus on what truly matters. For example, if our intention is to build confidence, we can choose to focus on thoughts that reinforce our strengths, resilience, and past successes, rather than dwelling on self-doubt. Clear intentions act as a mental compass, guiding our thoughts toward constructive, goal-oriented directions. In conclusion, mastering our thoughts is not about suppressing or controlling every mental impulse, but rather about guiding the mind with purpose, compassion, and awareness. By practicing mindfulness, identifying limiting beliefs, visualizing our goals, embracing self-compassion, cultivating gratitude, journaling, and setting intentions, we can transform our minds from potential obstacles into powerful allies. This journey requires patience and dedication, but the rewards are profound. By acting as the master of our mind, we open the door to a life of greater clarity, resilience, and fulfillment, proving that our thoughts, when harnessed with intention, can indeed serve us in our pursuit of our highest potential. Imagination is one of the most powerful creative tools we possess. It is not only a source of inspiration and innovation, but also a transformative force that shapes our perception of reality and our ability to manifest our desires. Imagination allows us to envision worlds, ideas, and experiences beyond our immediate surroundings, tapping into limitless potential. When we consciously use imagination to envision our goals, dreams, and aspirations, we engage in a creative process that can align our thoughts, emotions, and actions with our highest ambitions. Throughout history, great thinkers, artists, and innovators have used imagination as a vital tool for progress and personal growth. Today, we can harness this same tool to create a fulfilling and meaningful life. At its core, imagination is the faculty that allows us to form mental images of things not physically present. These mental images can be past memories, future aspirations, or entirely new concepts that have never existed. Unlike daydreaming or wishful thinking, using imagination as a creative tool requires intention and purpose. It's about visualizing desired outcomes in vivid detail and feeling the emotions associated with those outcomes. This process creates a powerful psychological and emotional experience that can influence the subconscious mind. When we imagine ourselves achieving a goal or embodying a particular quality, we start to internalize those possibilities, making them feel real and attainable. One of the primary benefits of using imagination as a creative tool is its ability to break down mental barriers. Often we are limited not by our abilities, but by our beliefs about what is possible. Imagination allows us to transcend these limits, envisioning success, happiness, and fulfillment even when circumstances suggest otherwise. For example, an aspiring entrepreneur might face challenges or setbacks in their journey. By regularly imagining themselves achieving success, overcoming obstacles, and reaching their goals, they can maintain the motivation and resilience needed to continue. This positive mental rehearsal helps them overcome doubt and cultivate a mindset of possibility and perseverance. Using imagination in this way also helps us to develop self-confidence. When we imagine ourselves achieving something significant, we begin to believe in our ability to make it happen. Our minds do not always distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences, so when we frequently visualize success, our brain begins to recognize it as an achievable outcome. This process, often referred to as mental rehearsal, has been used by athletes, performers, and business professionals to improve performance. By visualizing themselves performing at their best, they prepare their minds and bodies for success, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of confidence and accomplishment. Imagination also helps us develop a clear vision of our goals. Many people struggle to achieve their dreams because they lack a specific and compelling vision of what they want. Imagination allows us to explore different possibilities, refining our goals and aspirations until we arrive at a clear and motivating vision. When we use our imagination to envision our ideal life or desired achievements, we become more connected to our goals on an emotional level. This emotional connection is crucial for sustaining motivation, as it keeps us focused on the bigger picture, even when challenges arise. A clear, imaginative vision serves as a mental anchor that reminds us of our purpose, helping us stay committed to our path. Moreover, imagination can be a tool for problem solving. When we face obstacles, our immediate reaction might be frustration or discouragement. However, by engaging our imagination, we can approach these challenges from new angles and come up with innovative solutions. Imagination encourages us to think beyond conventional boundaries and explore possibilities we may not have considered otherwise. For example, if someone is struggling in a career that feels stagnant, using imagination can help them envision alternative paths or creative solutions, such as starting a side project, pursuing a new skill, or even changing industries. This flexibility and openness to new ideas are invaluable assets in navigating life's uncertainties. Another powerful aspect of imagination is its ability to positively impact our emotional state. When we imagine scenarios that bring us joy, satisfaction, or excitement, we naturally begin to feel those emotions in the present moment. This phenomenon, often called emotional rehearsal, can significantly improve our mood and outlook. For example, if someone feels overwhelmed or stressed, they can take a few minutes to imagine themselves in a peaceful, joyful setting, perhaps on a beach, in a forest, or achieving a long-desired goal. This practice has a calming effect, helping to reduce stress and promote feelings of well-being. By regularly using imagination to invoke positive emotions, we can cultivate a more optimistic and resilient mindset. Imagination also strengthens our creativity. Creativity is not limited to the arts, it is essential in every aspect of life, from personal relationships to professional success. By engaging our imagination, we activate the parts of our brain responsible for innovation and original thinking. When we regularly practice imagining new ideas, solutions, and perspectives, we enhance our creative abilities, which can lead to a more fulfilling and adaptable life. Creative problem solving becomes second nature, and we become more adept at thinking outside the box, which can be an invaluable skill in a rapidly changing world. Imagination is also a bridge between the present and the future. When we imagine our future self, the life we desire, or the goals we want to achieve, we are not only creating a vision, we are also sending a powerful signal to our subconscious mind. This vision becomes a mental map, guiding us toward actions that align with our goals. Our imagination, when used deliberately, can help us attract resources, people, and opportunities that align with our vision. In this sense, imagination is not a passive activity, but an active force that shapes our trajectory, helping us realize our dreams. In conclusion, imagination is a creative tool that can profoundly impact every area of our lives. It is a source of inspiration, a pathway to self-confidence, and a means of developing a clear vision for our future. By using imagination intentionally, we can overcome mental limitations, build resilience, and foster emotional well-being. We can approach challenges with creativity and openness, and develop a mindset rooted in possibility and optimism. Imagination allows us to experience our desired future in the present, aligning our thoughts, feelings, and actions with our goals. As we cultivate this powerful tool, we find ourselves more connected to our true potential, creating a life that reflects our deepest aspirations. Through imagination, we become the artists of our lives, shaping reality with the colors of our dreams. Living in the end is a transformative practice rooted in the idea that we should adopt the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of someone who has already achieved their desired goals. This approach, popularized by mystics and modern self-development figures like Neville Goddard, emphasizes that by assuming the feeling of our wish fulfilled, we bridge the gap between where we are and where we want to be. When we live in the end, we don't merely hope or wish for an outcome, we embody it, training our minds and emotions to align with the reality we want to create. This practice is about much more than positive thinking. It is a powerful psychological tool for shifting our subconscious mind and engaging our whole being in the process of manifestation. At its essence, living in the end is a mental and emotional exercise. Instead of waiting for external circumstances to change before we feel fulfilled, we choose to experience that fulfillment now. Imagine wanting a successful career, a loving relationship, or financial freedom. Living in the end means feeling the joy, gratitude, and contentment of already having those things. This process isn't about tricking ourselves, but rather about using the mind's power to influence reality by cultivating the right mental and emotional states. Neuroscience shows that the brain cannot easily distinguish between real experiences and vividly imagined ones. By embodying our desired state, we train our mind and body to align with the outcome, making it feel natural and achievable. A significant benefit of this approach is the way it transforms self-belief. Often we are our own biggest obstacles, limited by doubts and fears. When we live in the end, we shift our self-image to align with the person who has already achieved what we want. For instance, Someone striving to become a confident public speaker might feel nervous and insecure about speaking in front of a crowd. Living in the end would mean adopting the self-belief and confidence of a successful speaker now, even before they fully mastered the skill. By doing so, they begin to change their subconscious beliefs, transforming from someone who feels they cannot to someone who feels they already are. This shift in self-concept is crucial because it influences behavior, creating a feedback loop where positive actions reinforce positive beliefs. Living in the end also promotes resilience. When we adopt the feelings and mindset of already having achieved our goals, setbacks feel less discouraging. We view challenges as temporary, knowing that our desired outcome is already part of who we are. This helps us bounce back from adversity, as we are less likely to be derailed by obstacles that might otherwise cause frustration or doubt. For example, if someone is pursuing a new business venture and encounters difficulties, living in the end helps them maintain a long-term perspective, allowing them to see each hurdle as a stepping stone rather than a setback. This perspective fosters perseverance, which is often the difference between success and failure. Another benefit of living in the end is that it reduces anxiety and fear of the unknown. Many people spend a great deal of time worrying about the future, fearful of what might go wrong or uncertain about the path forward. When we live in the end, we adopt a mindset of trust and certainty, choosing to feel secure and at peace, because we are convinced that the outcome we desire is already on its way. This helps reduce stress and allows us to approach challenges with a clear, calm mind, rather than one clouded by anxiety. By trusting that the future holds the results we seek, we become more present, able to focus on what we can do today, rather than what might or might not happen tomorrow. Living in the end also improves focus. When we immerse ourselves in the feeling of our goals being fulfilled, we naturally become more aware of actions and choices that align with our desired outcomes. This awareness guides us to prioritize activities that support our vision and avoid distractions that don't serve our goals. For example, someone who envisions themselves as a healthy and fit individual might find it easier to make healthier food choices and stay consistent with exercise routines because they already see themselves as that person. This clarity of focus becomes a form of self-guidance, making it easier to stay disciplined and consistent, as every decision can be measured against the vision of one's already achieved self. A vital part of living in the end is learning to let go of how the outcome will manifest. Often people become so focused on specific paths to success that they overlook opportunities and resources that could help them. By releasing the need to control every step, we open ourselves to unexpected possibilities. Living in the end creates a sense of confidence that allows us to trust in the process, believing that the right opportunities, people, and circumstances will align naturally. This openness enhances our ability to recognize and act on chances we might otherwise miss, trusting that they will lead us closer to our goals. This mindset also influences our relationships. When we live as though our goals are fulfilled, we radiate positivity, confidence, and peace, which draws like-minded people to us. For example, someone who lives in the end of having a loving, respectful relationship will approach current relationships with kindness, patience, and warmth, rather than desperation or neediness. This mindset shift fosters more meaningful connections and can even inspire others to adopt similar perspectives. In conclusion, living in the end is a powerful transformative practice that harnesses the creative power of the mind to shape reality. By adopting the mindset, emotions, and self-concept of someone who has already achieved their goals, we reprogram our subconscious mind, shifting from a state of lack to one of fulfillment. This shift affects our beliefs, actions, and relationships, creating a ripple effect that aligns our lives with our deepest desires. Living in the end builds resilience, reduces anxiety, sharpens focus, and strengthens our capacity for trust and openness. It is more than a mental exercise, it is a commitment to living from a place of inner certainty, embracing our dreams as present realities rather than distant aspirations. By mastering this practice, we empower ourselves to manifest a life that reflects our truest potential, proving that our inner state has the power to shape our outer world. The concept of revision of past experiences is a transformative approach to personal growth and healing. This practice involves reimagining and reinterpreting past events, especially those that are painful or limiting, in a new light. Often associated with Neville Goddard's teachings, revision allows us to reshape how we view our past so that it no longer hinders us in the present or future. By revisiting difficult experiences with a new perspective, we can change the emotional impact these memories hold, making them constructive rather than restrictive. Revision is not about denying reality or pretending that painful events never happened. Instead, it's about altering our perception and emotional response to those events, creating a more empowering and compassionate narrative that supports our growth and goals. One of the primary benefits of revising past experiences is the ability to let go of limiting beliefs. Many of the beliefs we hold about ourselves stem from interpretations we made in childhood or during emotionally charged experiences. These interpretations, though often inaccurate or incomplete, shape our self-concept and expectations. For example, if someone was frequently criticized as a child, they might have developed a belief that they are not good enough or incapable. This belief, formed in a vulnerable moment, may continue to influence their actions and self-esteem years later, affecting relationships, career choices, and personal goals. Through revision, we can revisit these formative moments and reinterpret them from a more compassionate and self-empowering perspective, gradually dismantling limiting beliefs and replacing them with ones that support our growth. Revision also allows us to heal unresolved emotional wounds. When we carry unresolved pain, it affects our mental and emotional well-being, often leading to resentment, regret, or guilt. These emotions can drain our energy, impair our focus, and influence our interactions with others. By revising past experiences, we have the opportunity to transform how we feel about these events. For instance, someone who feels guilty about a past mistake can use revision to envision themselves making amends or responding in a way they feel proud of. While the past event itself doesn't change, the person's relationship to it does. Over time, this shift in perspective helps to release the emotional weight, allowing them to move forward with a lighter heart and a greater sense of peace. Another powerful aspect of revision is its ability to enhance self-compassion. Often when we look back on our past, we judge ourselves harshly for things we did or didn't do, things we wish we had said, or opportunities we missed. This self-criticism can create a cycle of shame, regret, and self-doubt that impacts our confidence and self-worth. Revision encourages us to revisit these memories with understanding and forgiveness. Instead of reliving moments of shame or regret, we can reframe them as learning experiences, recognizing the growth they contributed to our journey. By adopting a compassionate perspective, we become less critical and more accepting of ourselves, embracing the lessons from the past rather than feeling trapped by them. The practice of revision also helps us rewire our subconscious mind. Our memories are stored with emotional associations, and these associations influence our beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. By revisiting a painful memory and changing our emotional response to it, we effectively rewrite the memory's impact on our subconscious mind. For example, if someone has a memory of a traumatic event that triggers anxiety, revising that memory in a way that emphasizes resilience and strength can reduce the fear and anxiety attached to it. Over time, this process trains the subconscious to respond differently to similar situations, helping us break free from patterns of fear, self-doubt, or avoidance. This rewiring process is subtle but profound, as it shapes our underlying beliefs and emotions in a way that aligns with our desired future. Furthermore, revision is a practice of self-empowerment. When we reframe past experiences, we assert control over how we view and interpret our lives. Rather than being passive recipients of our history, we become active creators of our personal narrative. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering because it reminds us that we are not defined by our past but by the meanings we assign to it. For example, someone who experienced rejection might choose to view it as a necessary step toward personal growth, using it as motivation to develop resilience and self-reliance. This empowering reinterpretation helps them approach future challenges with a sense of agency, rather than as a victim of circumstances. Additionally, revision encourages a more optimistic and resilient mindset. When we practice reinterpreting difficult experiences in a positive or constructive way, we develop a habit of looking for growth opportunities in every situation. This habit translates into a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities rather than setbacks. For instance, by reimagining a past failure as a learning experience, we train ourselves to view current and future difficulties through a similar lens. This optimistic perspective helps us maintain motivation, even during tough times, and builds emotional resilience, making us more adaptable to change and better equipped to pursue our goals. The process of revision can also improve our relationships. Many of our interpersonal conflicts and struggles are influenced by unresolved issues from the past, such as trust issues, insecurity, or fear of abandonment. By revising the events that created these patterns, we can release negative associations that we might unconsciously project onto others. For example, if someone grew up feeling neglected, they might fear abandonment in relationships even when there's no real threat. By revisiting memories of neglect and reframing them with compassion or imagining a different, supportive outcome, they can reduce the influence of these fears on their current relationships. This shift allows them to approach relationships with greater trust, openness, and emotional availability, enhancing their ability to form deeper, more fulfilling connections. In conclusion, revising past experiences is a powerful tool for personal transformation, emotional healing, and growth. By reinterpreting our memories and shifting the emotional responses attached to them, we break free from limiting beliefs, release unresolved emotional wounds, and cultivate self-compassion. This practice rewires the subconscious mind, helping us build new, empowering associations that align with our goals and values. Revision reminds us that we are not defined by what happened to us, but by how we choose to view and integrate those experiences into our lives. It is a profound act of self-empowerment, encouraging us to take charge of our personal narrative and reshape it in a way that serves our highest potential. By adopting this mindset, we foster resilience, optimism, and emotional freedom, allowing us to approach life with renewed confidence and clarity. Through revision, we transform the past from a source of limitation into a foundation for growth, proving that we have the power to create a brighter, more fulfilling future regardless of our history. Mindful thought gardening is a metaphorical yet practical approach to managing our inner world. The concept treats thoughts as seeds that, when cultivated with attention, can grow into powerful habits, beliefs, and attitudes that shape our lives. In this practice, mindfulness acts as the gardener, selectively choosing which thoughts to nurture and which to let go. Through careful observation, we develop the ability to recognize and change unproductive or negative thoughts while encouraging positive, empowering ones to thrive. Thought gardening emphasizes the impact of daily mental habits on our overall well-being and success, suggesting that by being mindful and deliberate with our thoughts, we can transform our inner landscape into one that supports our highest aspirations. The first aspect of mindful thought gardening is awareness. Just as a gardener observes the condition of the soil, sunlight, and plant growth, we must first become aware of the thoughts that populate our minds. This awareness is essential, as many of our thoughts run on autopilot, influenced by past experiences, beliefs, and external influences. By paying close attention to our mental patterns, we begin to notice which thoughts are constructive and which are detrimental. For instance, thoughts of self-doubt or pessimism may frequently surface without our conscious intention. By observing these patterns without judgment, we bring them into the light of awareness, creating a foundation for transformation. Awareness allows us to identify thoughts that do not serve our well-being, setting the stage for change. Once we become aware of our thoughts, the next step is discernment. In mindful thought gardening, discernment is the skill of choosing which thoughts to cultivate and which to release. This is akin to weeding in a garden. Not all thoughts need to be entertained or taken seriously. Many arise out of habit, societal conditioning, or temporary emotions and do not reflect our true intentions or values. For instance, if we catch ourselves frequently thinking, "I am not good enough," discernment helps us recognize this as a weed of thought that does not serve our growth. Discernment allows us to consciously let go of negative or unproductive thoughts, redirecting our energy toward nurturing those that align with our goals and values. It's a practice of selective focus, choosing to invest mental energy in thoughts that contribute positively to our lives. An essential part of this practice is the intentional cultivation of positive thoughts. Just as a gardener plants seeds for flowers, fruits, or vegetables they wish to grow, we can consciously cultivate thoughts that bring joy, confidence, and resilience. This doesn't mean forcing positivity, but rather choosing constructive, encouraging perspectives that uplift and support us. For example, if we're facing a challenging situation, rather than focusing on fear or failure, we can intentionally adopt thoughts like, "This is an opportunity to grow," or "I have the resources to handle this." By choosing these seeds of thought, we foster an inner environment that encourages growth and well-being. Over time, these positive thoughts become natural, enriching our mindset and making it easier to handle challenges with optimism and resilience. Mindful thought gardening also involves regular mental maintenance. In the same way that a garden requires ongoing care to flourish, our minds need consistent attention to stay balanced and healthy. This maintenance involves routinely checking in with our thoughts, noting any recurring negative patterns and consciously replacing them with more beneficial ones. It's about taking time each day to weed out thoughts of self-criticism, worry, or fear and replace them with affirmations of self-worth, gratitude, or hope. A few minutes of mindfulness or journaling each day can act as this maintenance, helping us stay connected to our intentions and prevent old, negative patterns from taking root again. With time, this daily attention reinforces new mental habits that align with a more empowered, peaceful state of mind. Resilience is another benefit of mindful thought gardening. When we actively cultivate empowering thoughts, we build a mental environment that can withstand the storms of life. Just as a well-maintained garden can survive harsh weather, a mind trained in mindfulness and positive focus is better equipped to handle stress, setbacks, or disappointment. For example, when faced with a failure, someone who has practiced mindful thought gardening will be more inclined to think, "What can I learn from this?" rather than spiraling into self-doubt or despair. This resilience comes from a mind trained to find growth and opportunity even in adversity, strengthening our ability to bounce back and adapt. The practice also enhances emotional well-being. Our thoughts directly influence our emotions, meaning that a mind filled with constructive, compassionate, and optimistic thoughts will naturally produce feelings of contentment, hope, and self-acceptance. Mindful thought gardening helps us create an emotional environment that supports inner peace and joy. When we are no longer weighed down by habitual negative thinking, we can experience greater clarity and satisfaction. This positive emotional landscape not only benefits us but also impacts those around us, as our emotional state influences our relationships and interactions. Additionally, mindful thought gardening nurtures self-compassion. Often we are our own harshest critics, holding on to negative judgments or self-blame. By practicing mindfulness, we become more aware of these self-critical thoughts and can actively choose to replace them with more compassionate ones. For instance, instead of thinking, "I should have done better," we can think, "I did the best I could with what I knew at the time." This shift promotes a gentle, forgiving attitude toward ourselves, helping us release guilt and embrace self-acceptance. Over time, this practice of self-compassion builds a foundation of inner support, allowing us to move through life with a lighter heart and greater confidence. In conclusion, mindful thought gardening is a powerful approach to cultivating a positive, resilient, and empowered mindset. By becoming aware of our thoughts, discerning which ones to nurture, and regularly tending to our mental landscape, we create an inner environment that supports our well-being and personal growth. This practice not only helps us break free from unproductive patterns, but also strengthens our resilience, enhances emotional health, and fosters self-compassion. Mindful thought gardening reminds us that we are not mere bystanders in our mental world, we are the gardeners of our minds, with the power to cultivate a landscape that aligns with our highest potential. By committing to this practice, we transform our thoughts into a garden of possibilities, nurturing a life filled with purpose, joy, and inner peace. Consistent practice is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and mastery, yet it's often undervalued in a world that prioritizes quick fixes and instant results. The concept emphasizes the importance of showing up regularly, dedicating time and energy to a skill, habit, or goal until it becomes a natural part of who we are. Consistent practice is not about perfection, but about perseverance, putting in the effort day after day, despite challenges or setbacks, to gradually achieve lasting results. Whether the aim is to develop a skill, build a habit, or transform a mindset, consistency is the key ingredient that separates fleeting attempts from true mastery and success. One of the primary benefits of consistent practice is the development of discipline. When we commit to doing something regularly, regardless of how we feel in the moment, we strengthen our ability to act in alignment with our long-term goals rather than being swayed by short-term distractions or emotions. Discipline is the foundation of all achievement, because it enables us to follow through on our intentions even when the initial excitement fades or the task becomes challenging. For instance, someone practicing an instrument daily builds the discipline to sit down and practice even on days when motivation is low. Over time, this discipline spills over into other areas of life, making it easier to maintain commitments and accomplish goals. This steady, incremental approach creates an inner strength that boosts resilience and helps us persevere in the face of setbacks. Consistent practice also allows us to build momentum. In any endeavor, the beginning stages can feel the hardest because we are still developing foundational skills or building new habits. At first, progress might feel slow and results may seem small, but with consistent effort, even minor progress begins to compound, eventually leading to significant improvement. This concept is often called the compound effect. Small, repeated actions accumulate over time to create powerful outcomes. For example, in fitness, a person who exercises consistently over several months or years will likely see remarkable physical changes compared to someone who exercises sporadically. Momentum, once built, makes it easier to keep going because each step forward becomes part of a growing body of progress that motivates us to continue. A significant advantage of consistent practice is the mastery of skills. When we commit to practicing something regularly, we give ourselves the time and space to understand it on a deeper level. Mastery doesn't come from occasional effort, but from repeated, focused practice that allows us to learn from mistakes, refine techniques, and expand our understanding. Consider an artist who spends years honing their craft. They develop an intuitive understanding of color, form, and technique that only comes from hours of practice. Consistent practice helps us go beyond surface-level competence, enabling us to internalize skills to the point where they become second nature. This mastery is invaluable because it brings confidence, allowing us to perform with ease and creativity in challenging situations. Furthermore, consistency fosters resilience. Life is filled with obstacles, distractions, and moments of self-doubt that can derail us from our path. However, a consistent practice builds mental and emotional resilience, helping us stay focused on our goals even when things get tough. By making a habit of showing up day after day, we develop the mental strength to weather setbacks and disappointments without giving up. For instance, a writer who commits to writing daily will inevitably face days when the words don't flow or self-doubt creeps in. Yet, by continuing to write through these challenging moments, they build a resilience that allows them to keep going and eventually produce something meaningful. Consistency, therefore, is not only about reaching a goal, but about becoming someone who can persevere and adapt to challenges. In addition to resilience, consistent practice cultivates a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities can improve with effort and time. When we practice something regularly, we experience firsthand how effort leads to progress. This shift in perspective helps us become more open to learning from mistakes and feedback, seeing setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than as indications of failure. For example, a language learner who studies daily will make countless mistakes, but they'll also see gradual improvement over time. This reinforces the idea that progress is possible and that mistakes are simply part of the learning process. A growth mindset is essential for long-term success because it helps us stay motivated and optimistic, seeing every experience as a stepping stone toward our goals. Consistent practice also helps with time management and prioritization. When we commit to something consistently, we learn to organize our time effectively to make space for it in our daily lives. This process teaches us how to prioritize our goals over distractions, making us more intentional with our time. For instance, someone who commits to meditating every morning will start arranging their schedule around that practice, perhaps waking up earlier or cutting down on unnecessary activities. Over time, this practice of making time for what matters becomes a habit, leading to a more balanced and purposeful lifestyle. Effective time management, honed through consistent practice, ensures that we dedicate time to our priorities rather than letting them be overshadowed by daily demands. In addition to practical benefits, consistent practice also has psychological rewards. There is a deep satisfaction in witnessing our own growth and improvement over time. Consistency allows us to experience the fulfillment of setting a goal and seeing it through, no matter how long it takes. This sense of accomplishment boosts self-esteem and confidence, reinforcing our belief in our abilities. When we see that our efforts lead to positive change, we become more empowered and motivated to pursue other goals. For instance, someone who commits to learning a musical instrument and eventually plays their favorite song experiences a sense of pride and joy that only comes from sustained effort. This sense of achievement strengthens our relationship with ourselves, proving that we are capable of growth and transformation. In conclusion, consistent practice is a powerful tool for self-improvement and personal success. By showing up regularly, we develop discipline, build momentum, and work toward mastery in our chosen pursuits. This practice cultivates resilience and a growth mindset, helping us overcome challenges and setbacks with determination and optimism. Consistency teaches us valuable lessons in time management and prioritization, guiding us to create a life focused on our true goals. It also brings a deep sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, boosting our confidence and reinforcing our belief in our abilities. In the end, consistent practice is more than a habit, it's a mindset and a way of life that empowers us to achieve our highest potential. Through the steady dedication of time and effort, we turn aspirations into achievements, proving that true growth and mastery are within our reach if we simply commit to the journey day by day.